After reciting the plagues, we continue with a section that comes to us from the Mishnah, from the ancient rabbis, that poses some questions, poses some biblical and rabbinic riddles of how many plagues were the Egyptians really smitten with, both in Egypt and at the shores of the Red Sea before we crossed through. Rabbi Yossi Yossi the Galilean, posed the riddle: how do you know that God struck the Egyptians with only 10 blows in Egypt, while God struck them with 50 blows at the Red Sea? And his solution is that in Egypt God used one finger, just as the magician said unto Pharaoh, "This is the finger of God." But at the sea God used God's whole hand. For it says, Israel saw the great hand that God used against Egypt in Exodus chapter 14. So logically he surmises that if one finger produced 10 plagues in Egypt, a whole hand would have produced 50 plagues at the sea. However, Rabbi Eliezer posed another riddle, and he said, how do you know that each of the 10 plagues in Egypt was really 4 plagues rolled into one? Because in Psalms 78, verse 49, it says, God's burning anger at the Egyptians is described with 4 extra synonyms: wrath, indignation, trouble, and a band of deadly messengers. Each of the plagues must then have 4 dimensions. In some, God struck 40 blows, or 4 times 10, in Egypt using just one finger, and 200 blows, which is 4 times 10 times 5 at the sea, using God's whole hand. Rabbi Akiva then posed the riddle: how do we know that each of the 10 plagues in Egypt was really 5 plagues rolled into one? And he says, using the same verse from Psalms, that there are 5 synonyms for anger expressed in each plague. God inflicted God's burning anger on them, which is 1, wrath, which is 2, indignation 3, trouble 4, and a band of deadly messengers 5. So in some, God struck 50 blows, 5 times 10, in Egypt, using just one finger, and 250 blows at the sea using God's whole hand. Kama ma'alot tovot l'makom aleinu. How many degrees of good did God bestow upon us?